If I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have an absolutely hilarious video for you today. Anish Giri, ladies and gentlemen, he's done it again. He has done it again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Anish Giri has a certain propensity, a certain fame, a certain infamy for making draws in chess. So we're going to quickly look at the FIDE handbook, FIDE rulebook, on what types of games end in draws, and we're going to look at 2 instances where Anish Giri has gone an entire tournament, did not win and did not lose, and drew every single game. One of them was many years ago in the Candidates Tournament, and one of them recently was a tournament at the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz. He did it in a rapid event, and rapid chess is designed to limit draws because grandmasters are very good at making draws. Let's not, be mean here. Grandmasters make lots and lots of draws. Just normally, they don't draw every single game in a tournament. So we're going to be looking at that. Firstly, the FIDE handbook, in case you've never seen what it looks like before. We're going to quickly go here. FIDE laws. I will zoom in. We're looking specifically at Article 5.2, and it's got your A to E. The game is drawn when the player to move has no legal move and king is not in check. The game is said to end in stalemate. If you're looking at B, the game is drawn when a position has arisen in which neither player can checkmate the opponent's king with any series of legal moves. So if you end up with 2 kings, or a king and a knight, or a king and a bishop, and so on and so forth, when you are physically unable to checkmate the opponent's king. But it's not a stalemate or anything like that. Option C, the game is drawn upon agreement between the 2 players. So you guys get to a certain position, you're like, this is going to peter out into a draw. You offer your hand, we shake hands, and we call it a day. Grandmasters make this type of draw very often. The next one is also the next most common. The game may be drawn if an identical position is about to appear or has appeared on the board at least 3 times. They do this a lot. They do it very quickly, very often. And so on and so forth. And because in certain tournaments, like the Candidates, you have to get to a certain move before you can offer a draw. So to get around that, they just repeat the position like a couple of times. And then option E, the game may be drawn if each player has made at least the last 50 consecutive moves without the movement of any pawn or without any capture. And then for later, you can see Article 9. So we're going to go now to the first instance in which Anish Giri did this, and he made 14 draws from the FIDE candidates in 2016. This was the candidate which was won by Sergei Karyakin. Fabiano Caruana finished second. Viswanathan Anand, by the way, this doesn't get mentioned a lot. He nearly won back-to-back candidates, which is really, really cool. Because he won the previous one to play Magnus Carlsen. He ultimately lost that World Championship match and nearly got there again. He was a point behind Karyakin. But Anish Giri, 14 draws. He drew everybody twice. He drew Levon Aronian twice. He drew Veselin Topalov twice. Hikaru Nakamura twice. Peter Svidler twice. Vishy Anand twice. Fabiano Caruana twice. Sergei Karyakin twice. And of course, if we go through this, it'll be all different types. So if we click on the games, this one is drawn. Look at this. They have an hour 40 on the clock because there was a sacrifice here, and then he just repeats the position on move 30 after a couple of things. This was against Karyakin in round 3, and so on and so forth. Draws are ridiculous. So if I go, I think this would be the best way to do it. So first round, Anish Giri, you can see they played kings in a stalemate type of position. Game 2, Anish Giri. Here, it looks like they agree to a draw, or they repeat the position. Those two are kind of the same in that type of scenario. Here, we saw the game against Karyakin. In this game, where's it? Anish Giri here, Hikaru Nakamura. What happened in this game? Yeah, 32 moves, and it was a draw by repetition, where they just moved the knights. They kind of got to as far as they could go, and it was that kind of draw by repetition. Then was that, against Karyakin, we got that position. Game 7 against Vishy Anand, we got, Bishop endgame. Where's he here? Anish Giri, Levon Aronian, we start the process all over again. And, just draws all over the place. He couldn't win, he couldn't lose. Anish Giri. And the thing is, drawing a lot of games in classical tournaments, that'll keep you going for quite some time, particularly at this kind of level. But just never able to win means he's never able to, like, get really close. Like, there's a lot of positions here where it seems like the king is just getting checked multiple times, or it's drawn endgames and so on. Drawn rook endgames, drawn bishop endgames for quite a few of them. Yeah, look at this position, by the way. Look at this position. Move 52. We don't want to go to the whole game, maybe, so maybe we'll skip ahead to, like, move 40, because it seems like there's a few inaccuracies, a couple blunders. But we get to, like, an endgame here, and it's just, like, the queen checking the king, because you've got 2 pieces for the rook, and that rook can basically not move, but the king's kind of stuck, and so they end up making a draw in the end, which is just quite impressive. So Anish Giri here, if we go to the full results on the table, went 14 draws, drew 7 players twice. But this was a classical tournament, ladies and gentlemen. And not to dogpile on Rapid and Blitz, but it is quite impressive to do it in one of those tournaments. And yet he did. Grand Chess Tour, St. Louis, Rapid and Blitz. Overall, the event was won by Praggnanandhaa Ramesh Babu, but in the rapid portion, ladies and gentlemen, here in 5th place, with a perfect 9 points, Anish Giri, making 9 draws. 9 draws. He drew against Praggnanandhaa Ramesh Babu, Javokhir Sindarov, Wesley So, Lenier Dominguez Perez, Levan Aronian, Vincent Keymer, Johan van Vreest, Fabiano Caruana, and Wanda Liang. 9 draws. He gained 1 rating point. 1 rating point. Because his rating is 2659, because obviously Rapid and Blitz, the players don't always play a lot of rated Rapid and Blitz chess over the board, so the ratings aren't quite, like, look at this, Levan Aronian 2750, Praggnanandhaa only 2700, 2730 for Javokhir, Fabiano Caruana is only like 2700, and so on. Johan van Vreest here 2596, Vincent Keymer 2637, but we know in classical chess he's a thing. You might be confused why on screen it's got, like, 1s. That's just because of the way the scoring works. Also, Lenier Dominguez Perez, by the way, did the same thing. Drew everyone. No? Yes. He did. He did. And then they went into the Blitz. So Lenier Dominguez Perez and Anish Giri on a perfect 9 points, where they drew every single game. Wesley So finished slightly above them because he won 1 game. That's just it. He lost the game, and then he won 1 game, which was absolutely brilliant. So, winning helps a lot. And then you got Sindarov, who finished second, and Praggnanandhaa, who lost the game but won 3 of them. He finished top there as well. So now, Peter Heine Nielsen and I have got the same question. Anish Giri obviously posted an image here. He said, Blitz won't be as easy, but I will give it a shot. Here's the graphic. I think this is on endgame.ai, if you're curious, where he's got all of his games drawn there. So Sindarov, Liang, Wesley So, Lenier Dominguez Perez, Keymer, Van Vreest, Prague, Levan, and Fabiano Caruana. And, Peter Heine Nielsen, classical, check. Rapid, check. The real challenge for Heine Nielsen is to say, can you draw all the games in a freestyle tournament? Well, freestyle's kind of dead. There aren't as many freestyle tournaments. So he would have to maybe qualify for, like, the FIDE Freestyle World Chess Championship, and then draw all the games that he plays there. That'll be quite tricky. Anish Giri's next target is to try and do it in Blitz. So I will keep you updated if this happens. We will all be watching. The chess world will be watching for Anish Giri to do it for a 3rd time. Doing it twice is already interesting. I'm going to insert the Doofenshmirtz meme probably a couple times during this tournament. Weird that it happened 2 times. Not going to lie. Anish Giri. What a dude. What a dude, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I've got to say. Anish Giri is just what a dude. What a dude. Weird that it happened twice. If I had a nickel for every time Anish Giri drew every single game in a tournament.
Wow! If I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?